Street Champs, come get put on. Today I'm in here with very, very special guest, Olivia Harms and her band. I presume this is the band, right?
This is the band, yes.
Is the band.
We call ourselves the Roadrunners, Olivia Harms and the Roadrunners. So we got both the Roadrunners here, Ben and Wyatt.
Respect. Yes. Nice to meet you guys. Nice to meet you How you guys liking Pueblo so far?
Well, we're enjoying it. I mean, it's been great. We're happy to be here at Brews Ale House. It's going to be a lot of fun. And like the Riverwalk, I love it. I wish we had more time to explore because it looks like it really reminds me of San Antonio, like just in northern San Antonio. And I love it. So it's super pretty, super fun. We just wish that we could stay longer, you know.
Where are you guys going after this?
We go up to Casper, Wyoming tomorrow, and then Red Lodge, Montana on the 4th of July. So lots of fun, and then we have Wednesday off, and then we have 9 days in a row of playing. So these poor boys have to stay very busy. I don't give them any kind of break at all.
Oh, wow. That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
How long is the tour, the whole length?
The whole tour is going to be about 4 weeks long. So, yeah, we're on the road. We're getting to be great buddies because we just can't get away from each other. So, you know, there's no other choice.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys are all in a bus, a van?
Actually, we're in a pickup. Yeah, kind of unconventional. Not your normal band travel rig. But since it's just bass, fiddle, and acoustic guitar for the majority of the tour, I figured it would be more comfortable to take my pickup, and we were able to fit everything in there. And so, you know, probably only one time we will be able to do that. And then in the future, hopefully we will need a van or, you know, a trailer or a bus or whatever. But it's been good so far. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Who's driving?
I've been doing most of the driving.
Thank you.
But, I'm going to nominate the boys. We're only like 5, maybe 6 days. I'm starting to lose track of days, but we're only like 5 or 6 days in. So they're going to get their chance. Ben's chomping at the bit to drive. I just know it.
I do like it.
That's hilarious. And so what instruments do you guys play accordingly?
Yeah, we've got Wyatt on the fiddle over here.
Yep.
And I'm playing the bass.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How did you guys all meet?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm originally from Oregon, and I spend a lot of my time playing music down in Texas now, and then the western states, kind of like the other third, fourth of the year. And so I always go back to Oregon in the summertime because Texas gets way too hot. It's like 110 at my house right now in Texas. So up north I go. And I lived in Central Oregon for like 5 years before I moved down to Texas. And that's how I met Wyatt here, the fiddle player. We started playing together, and his brother is a wonderful steel guitar player. I needed a band, and we just kind of made it happen. And so when I was looking to go on the road, I asked Wyatt if he was willing to go, and he said, "You bet." And about a year ago, I played some tiny little street dance with Ben in the middle of nowhere.
Condon, Oregon, yeah.
Yes, and I remember he was like the coolest guy and super fun, and he did a great job on the bass. And so I gave him a holler, and he was all ready to go.
Shoot, gee whiz, Olivia. Hey, making me blush on the podcast.
That's hilarious. And how old are you guys?
Well, I'm 28. I just turned 28 on June 13th, so I'm fresh into my 28th year. It's exciting.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm 27.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And I'm the grandpa. I'm 32.
Oh, yeah. So old.
Yeah, that's really not that old. You guys are a young bunch.
Yeah, we're a young, fun bunch. That's what we tell ourselves anyway.
There's a lot of giggling.
Yeah.
On the road, yeah. So I think fun is a fair description. Yeah.
That's cool. What about like back home? Do you guys have families or kids or anything?
No kids. I have fur kids. You know, I have 2 rescue cow dogs, and they're the closest things I have to kids for quite some time. But my mom and dad are taking care of them, and I have a brother. They're all still back home in Canby, Oregon, on the ranch that I grew up on. And yeah, you guys have family, Wyatt?
Yeah, just not married or no kids or anything, but just family back in Prineville.
Single ladies,
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Just wait till you hear him
He's
fiddle.
ready to fiddle around.
No.
Oh.
What about you? You have any?
I'm blushing still, man. Yeah, I got family back in the Dalles. A bunch of us were there for a little while. My immediate family, but now it's just a couple of brothers of mine and we live there, and we're messing around in our home studio doing music things, and yeah, just staying busy,
Wow.
keeping the family vibe going, you know.
Wow. So you came from Oregon. What was growing up in Oregon? What is that like?
You know, I grew up in very rural Oregon, and so it's, you know, kind of like a rural place anywhere else, small town, everybody knows each other. I grew up in agriculture, so we had cows and we did hay, and I was in 4-H and FFA. So, I mean, it was a very, like, sweet country childhood that I had. And then my mom is a musician, and so I grew up on the road, traveling with her, started playing guitar, singing, and writing songs at a super young age, and just decided that's what I wanted to do after seeing how music can touch people. I was like, that's what I want to do with my life. That's what I'm meant to do. And so I've been chasing that pretty much as long as I can remember. But, you know, small town life, the more I've traveled, I've realized that my childhood is very, like, common. You know, there's a lot of small towns in America, and the more places I've gone, you know, maybe you think, oh, Oregon is this or that, but I've gone to Texas or Montana or Tennessee, wherever, and you have a lot of things in common when you come from a small town. And so it's been kind of neat to, like, connect with people that are from totally different areas and say, oh, we have, like, the same way that we grew up, which is really neat.
Wow. Is Pueblo bigger than your hometown?
Pueblo is, I mean, yeah, I think so. How big is Pueblo?
Honestly, I think it's about 140,000.
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, that's a big town. Canby, Oregon is, oh, gosh, I think it's like 8,000 people.
Oh, wow.
So it's little. I
That's
mean,
insane.
it's pretty small. Yeah, so it's a good place. I mean, we only have like 2 bars in town, and, you know, there's always some sort of small town drama going on where you can't go to one bar if the boys are there and there's just a breakup. So the girls and I always have to go somewhere else, and all those good things, you
That's
know.
funny. I heard that in one of your songs, that 2-bar.
Yes,
2 bars.
yes, Neon Blue. I
Yes, that's a good
write
song.
from the heart, you know. I got to tell the truth, otherwise I don't know how to do it.
What is Neon Blue?
Neon Blue. Well, you know, if your heart's not broke and you're at a honky tonk or like a little dive bar, I guess you're not like totally sad, so you're just kind of blue. But then the neon lights are there, so you're just neon blue at that point, you know.
Wow, I like that.
Thanks.
What's your writing process like, or do you write?
I do write. I co-write a lot. I spent a lot of time in Nashville doing a lot of writing. Really learned the process of co-writing there, which was really intimidating because I grew up writing solo. And, you know, writing can be really sensitive. It's very, like, intimate. So going in and kind of burying your heart and soul with someone that you maybe haven't met before, it's almost like going on a date. And you have to try to see if you vibe with that other person, because once you get to starting to write a song and you're like saying, well, what about this idea, or, you know, how about this one, or what if the story of the song goes this way, you don't want to, like, tell the person no. You want to feel comfortable to navigate the conversation to bring it to a song that you're both happy with. Mm-hmm. And so you kind of have to see if you're on the same vibe, just like you would with, like, a date. You want to make sure that you're both kind of headed the right direction and, like, have things in common. And so working in Nashville and navigating, like, that first few times of co-writing was really interesting, because I was always so scared that I was going to hurt someone's feelings, or what if they didn't like my ideas. But then I realized that it was really a valuable thing to do, because they can bring all this stuff to the table that maybe I would have never thought of. And so it's been really cool. You know, the songwriting process for me, I don't have anything that's concrete. I don't always have a way that I do it the same way, the same time. It kind of depends on what kind of hook I come up with, what the vibe of the song is, whether it's more of a story song, whether it's more of like a hook or a catchy line that reels people in. So I've done melody first, I've done chorus first, lyrics first, all kinds of ways. And I feel like as long as you end with a song that you're proud of and feel comfortable with, that's really the best way that you can do it.
Mm-hmm. Are you writing with the band in the room, or are you writing primarily solo?
Mostly we've just done, like, a couple people and an acoustic guitar. That's
Okay.
the way that I've found that I'm best at writing. And then sometimes if you happen to have a band nearby, you'll go in and you'll cut, like, a rough work tape and get an idea of, like, a rough version of the song that you could take into the studio later and do the full process with. But it's, you know, there's all kinds of ways to do it. That's the beauty of an art form, is there's no right or wrong way to do it.
Yeah, you mentioned Nashville too. What about what was working in Nashville like?
It was fun. I mean, music in Nashville is, you get all the different styles, And music is everywhere you go. I mean, you go to the grocery store and you're checking out, and your cashier is likely going to be someone who's chasing the music dream. So music is literally everywhere in Nashville, and it's really cool to meet some of your peers, have music in common with so many people, because as musicians, you know, music and creating music is such a passion. So to meet so many people in such a, you know, really relatively small area that we all have the same love is really a cool vibe.
Wow. You guys feel the same way? As you guys pretty passionate about music in your lives?
Yeah. I grew up doing music and playing. I started out learning piano and was in a boys choir when I was really young, and then learned fiddle because that's what I always wanted to learn. And so just kept with that, and and here we are.
Why the fiddle?
I just liked it. I grew up always listening to country music. That's what we always listened to, and old cowboy songs, and so it was just something I always liked. So, yep, yeah.
I feel like a lot of kids want to grow up to be the guitarist or the singer.
Yeah. I don't know. It just kind of, Charlie Daniels was definitely an influence when I was young, and so it's definitely on the forefront with him. So, yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What yourself?
Music's always been a passion of mine. I just sort of inherited it from my parents. They both moved to Nashville to do the music thing when they were younger, and then that's where they met and had me and my brother. So we come from there, that like legacy, I guess. But I mean, I haven't been back to Nashville since I was like born, so I don't really know much about it. But from what I do know about it, it's like Olivia was saying, just like the mecca of music, and that's something my parents both lived out, so that sort of trickled down to me, and now here I am with, you know,
here we are
sharing the passion.
Yeah. When do you think that kind of changed? You said it was the mecca of music. You know, I don't think it was always.
No, it hasn't always been. I think it's always been like the mecca of country music, and then more recently, as country music has kind of morphed into like a couple different versions, you have your traditional country music, you still have like the Americana folk country music that gets recorded in Nashville just because of its, you know, title of being the best place to record, and it's got the Grand Ole Opry. I mean, it's got this level of just like amazingness that doesn't really happen anywhere else in the country, of the musicians and everybody that gather there. And then there's also like, you know, this pop country, and then there's like hip hop country, and so there's all these different avenues that have kind of stemmed from just the original country that was maybe, you know, in the 60s, 70s, and in the 80s they started to add a different flavor, and then of course in the 90s they went a little bit more country, and now here we are in, you know, 2023, and there's all these different roads of country music. And I think that happening has created this like music melting pot in Nashville, because you can have anything from like rap to very acoustic to gospel to bluegrass to all these different genres of music, and everyone wants to go to Nashville to record because that's where the best musicians are, some of the best studios in the nation, a lot of the great producers. And I think people just, you know, have such a name recognition with saying I recorded in Nashville, or I wrote, or I'm based out of Nashville, where it's more of just a music city now, that it's grown so much that it's not just considered country music as much anymore.
Yeah, that's very true. Who's some of your like inspirations that you listen to right now?
Yeah. Oh gosh, I listen to all kinds of music. These poor boys have listened to my Spotify liked playlist as we've been traveling down the road, and
it's been great.
It's a musical journey. We travel everywhere throughout the musical genres. But I grew up listening to very traditional country music, and that's what I feel like I relate to the most. I do listen to everything, but I feel like my biggest influences are, you know, Merle Haggard, Buck Owens, Dolly Parton, a lot of the really traditional people. And if you go a little bit more modern, I really like Leanne Womack. I like Miranda Lambert, Casey Musgraves when she was doing a lot of the country stuff. I like Cody Johnson. There's just a lot of people, as long as they're telling a story song and you can hear what they're saying and it's got steel guitar and some fiddle in it, they're going to be right up my alley, and I'll consider that my genre of music.
What about you guys?
Bro, Seth?
Kind of the same thing. I grew up listening to a lot of similar music, so we really hit it off because of that. We have really similar tastes. But, you know, one of my earliest probably people that I listen to is an old cowboy artist, Don Edwards, who just passed away recently, didn't he?
Yeah, it was in the last year.
Yeah. So I listened a lot to him and Ian Tyson, so really old school and specifically Western kind of stuff. And then recently I started listening to a lot more of bands kind of based out of Texas because they tend to feature a lot of fiddle, so I'm a little biased towards that. But like Turnpike Troubadours is probably one of my favorite bands ever. I love them. Yeah, they're good.
As for me, I will be honest and admit that I feel sort of like the black sheep of the gang.
Whatever.
They're on this trip.
Yeah.
It's because I feel like I'm way behind when it comes to like country music, like knowledge. I know very little. I like when Olivia asked me to play last year with her for the first time in that little tiny town, I was like, oh yeah, I'd love to do that, but I don't know anything about it. So I just spent like months in my little bedroom just like listening over and over to this playlist that she sent me just so I can like really get the details of like how the bass is supposed to go, and like, okay, it's walking there and it's like 1/5ing here, and oh, here's the feel for this song. So it's been a really cool education for me on this like musical journey with Olivia Harms and Wyatt. I don't think I know your last name.
Oh no.
It's
Moss,
a big deal.
Mr.
Moss.
Moss.
Mr.
Yep.
Moss.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Moss.
I
Do
love
you know
it.
his last name?
Yes, Blakely.
Oh,
Yeah.
nailed it. Wow. Yep. I'm a little, blushing for the third time on this podcast.
Oh my gosh. Well, I can say like for me anyway, I've had a lot of fun of just like taking you under my little road runner wing, if you will, and teaching you all about country music, and you're gonna make a fine cowboy. I have no doubt. You've got it in you. Everybody's got a little cowboy deep down in their soul. So we're gonna bring it out of you one way or another, Ben. Don't you worry.
So. Thanks, Olivia.
What does a show entail with if someone's coming to watch you guys?
Oh gosh, I would like to think that it's pretty entertaining and you get to know us pretty well. I like to incorporate a lot of the story behind the song because as a songwriter, I really like sharing how I came up with the idea or the background behind the song. I feel like it really kind of builds a rapport so people get to know me better and know exactly how the song came about or came to be, and they get to know my journey or like how I got to that particular stage. So we definitely include some of that. We do some talking. We try to, do some jokes, and we really enjoy what we do. So I hope people look on stage and see us smiling and having fun because we really are. And I hope that fun kind of carries down into the crowd and that everybody has a good time. Walk away saying, well, that was fun, and they looked like they were having fun, and we had a darn good time. So, hopefully they'll come back.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Have you guys ever been in like any other bands or anything?
These two fellows have. I have primarily, like ever since I was little, I just wanted to be a singer-songwriter. So I primarily have just kind of, bulldozed ahead to try to do my own thing and, be Olivia Harms, the artist. My mom is a musician, so I've traveled with her and
What's
played
her
with her. Joni Harms is her name. And she's wonderful. She does more country western music, and she's great. So I guess I've sort of been a part of the Joni Harms band, traveling with her and doing some harmonies and then coming up and doing a few of my own songs. But these guys are both in a couple of their own bands, and Ben has his own band, and he's quite talented. He was showing me some of his music that is set to release hopefully in the next couple of months. So y'all should check that out because it's quite smashing.
Dang, thanks, Olivia. I literally just showed her this music like before we came over to this building. So,
What's the band's name?
It's called BB Lake Band. It's like a derivative of my name, Benjamin Blakely.
How many members are in it?
It's kind of, the recording has 5 of us in it. So five members, but we kind of mix and match during like live shows. So we'll have like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 if we get lucky, depending on the occasion.
Does like being in another band or having artists in another band, does that kind of clash with what you're trying to do or with the idea of your?
I hope not. I'm
I
trying to
don't
stay
think
like
so,
as
no.
respectful as I can. with
No,
you.
I love it. I think it's so fun to be able to like share and, music is an art form after all. And so I don't think you can ever have too many artists. He's not doing what I do. I mean, I don't do what he does. So I don't feel like there's any way we could step on each other's toes. I think if you're a true artist, you just appreciate what someone else is doing and support them and tell everybody else to go listen to them, because why not? The more music out there, the better.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a rare mindset, though. I think a lot of people are like scarcity.
Oh, well, that's not really gonna do me any favors in the long run if they are like, hey, that Olivia Harms is really she's a drill sergeant and she says, don't talk about your own stuff, only mine. So, no, I'm super supportive of anyone who wants to be a musician, because it's such a wonderful ride, and I'm really happy to have them with me for now, for as long as they want to be with me. If he blows up, which he probably will, and decides to go out on the road, Wyatt, he'll probably get picked up by some, big country artist and leave me, but I'll be thankful that I got to have him for the time I did.
Wow. It's a great mindset.
Dang, Olivia, you're gonna
Making
make
you
me
blush again.
Yeah, I know. And cry this time a little bit. Dang.
That's
oh my
hilarious.
gosh.
All right. So, what about like growing up and stuff? What kind of people were you guys growing up?
What kind of people were we growing up?
I was just a little human. I don't know. I mean, just running around playing in the mud, chasing cows. I was just a tomboy. I never used to even brush my hair. I'd just run around, and look at me now. I'm all jeweled up, and it takes me about an hour, 45 minutes to get ready. I'd be so disappointed as a little 8-year-old Livy saying, I was such a tomboy. So it was fun. I just got to grow up in the country and, go play with my cows that I was doing in 4-H and FFA, and go ride my horse and hang out with my dogs and strum on my little guitar. I feel like I'm just a more adult version of what I was when I was young.
Were you pretty good in school?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of like to be outside more than be in school. I think I did fine. I don't remember what I ended up with a GPA or anything, but I always did okay. My parents never really had to get after me for anything too bad in school as far as grades, but it was never my main interest. I always wanted to get home and be with the animals or go play and write music. So writing, I did okay in creative writing because I got quite an imagination on me. But other than that,
Makes sense.
nah.
Any college?
I did, actually. I did go to college. Somehow I managed to paddle my way through that. I went to Oregon State University and got a degree in agriculture, business management, and cattle production. So it's obviously right there parallel next to music. They go hand in hand, obviously.
That's a huge school, isn't it?
It is a pretty big school, yeah. So it was fun. My parents were very adamant that I get a backup plan, since my mom and dad know the music business pretty firsthand. My mom being in it, my dad being there next to her, watching, all the ups and downs. And they said, you really need to have something just in case. And so as soon as I graduated, the first thing I did was book a flight to Nashville and start songwriting. And I said, got that checked off. Okay, I'm going to go sing now. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are your parents still in Oregon?
Yep, they're still in Oregon and still on the ranch, and so is my brother. So I'm just the odd one out that travels around and, goes and plays music and goes on these big adventures now, I guess.
Wow, that's inspiring for a little town.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I mean, I've always thought the world is a pretty big place, and I wanted to see as much of it as I could. So here I am, just.
Back home, are you kind of like the hometown face?
Oh, I don't know about that. But it is neat when I get to play like hometown gigs and festivals and stuff, because you get to see people come out and they're like, they just are super supportive of what I'm doing, which I could not appreciate anymore. So I don't know if I'm the face of Canby, Oregon, but.
Who else would be?
Oh, I don't know. The mayor. The mayor is the face.
It's like it's you.
Well, thank you. That's very kind.
Yeah. What about you
Super
guys?
kind.
Do you guys look forward to going back home? You guys all, where do you guys like live?
Oh.
I live in Prineville, Oregon, so it's right in the center of the state.
Okay.
So the state's kind of split up. It's kind of two different worlds in a lot of ways. You have the west side of the state where it's really rainy and kind of what everybody thinks of when they think of Oregon. And then you have the east side, which is where I'm more at, right where the mountains kind of break it up. and it's really dry and high desert, closer to what it is around here. So and a lot of ranches, cattle ranches, big ranch, and so I grew up around that, and yeah, so that's what it's like there.
Do you have a lot of hometown love and support? Do you feel like?
Yeah, it's there's been a lot of people back where I grew up that were really supportive of me with the music, and surprisingly a lot of really good musicians in Central Oregon. Bend's kind of become a little bit of a hub. Bend, really? Oregon. There's so many places to play, and so you get a lot of music there, and so it's a nice little spot to kind of dip your toes in it and kind of see what it's all about. Yeah.
Yeah, what I know about Oregon is Nike. Nike's there, right?
That's right.
That's
Yeah,
right.
man, Eugene.
Yep, that's all I know, honestly.
Yep.
Are you guys?
Yes, I really appreciate you having us on. It's been so much fun, and thank you for taking the time to come out and chat with us, and I hope that we get to see you sometime down the road. Are you going to stick around for the show?
I am. I'm going to go put this away, and I'll come back, grab a beer. You guys
Awesome.
want to tell the people where to follow you?
Yes, please. Oh, yes, hello. I'm sorry we have not addressed the social medias at all. But yeah, I mean, if you want to follow us, social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, it's all just Olivia Harms Official or Olivia Harms Music. You can stream our music, my music, I guess, on Spotify, Apple Music, and BB Lake Music is going to be coming out soon.
Yeah,
so make sure you go listen to Ben and Wyatt, and we have a really good time. So follow our adventures if you want to. Then you can see where else we'll be playing. All the other tour dates are listed on oliviaharms.com.
Right on, guys. Appreciate that. All right, y'all. Street Champs, come get put on. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. All right, all that. Peace.